Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I hope you're having a wonderful day as always. My name is Ksenia and I make videos for people who, like myself, are going through the immigration process by themselves. Just a disclaimer that my videos are not legal advice. I'm not an immigration attorney. The purpose of my channel is to give you guys the confidence to go through the family-based immigration process by yourself. So for today's video, I have decided to sit down and explain to you guys how the concurrent filing process actually works. If this is your first video on this channel, I suggest that you check out the multiple playlists that I have explaining the family-based immigration process. In the first half of this video, I will explain the options that you have for concurrent filing, and in the later half of this video, I will go over some of the most frequent questions that I have received about concurrent filing. In order to help your relative immigrate to the United States, you first must file something known as Petition for Alien Relative, also known as Form I-130. So this form can be filed by either US citizens or green card holders who want to help their relatives come to the United States. Depending on whether you are a permanent resident or a US citizen, there are different types of relatives that you can petition to immigrate to the United States. And that is also outlined in the I-130 form instructions. And once this petition I-130 is approved, the next step for your relative is to apply for an actual green card. If your relative is currently residing inside the United States, they will have to apply for a green card using Form I-485, also known as Adjustment of Status Application. Obviously, there is a lot more paperwork involved in the process. However, the application I-130 and the application I-485 are the two primary steps in the entire immigration process. The process of concurrent filing allows certain eligible immigrants combine the first and the second step, meaning that they can submit the petition for alien relative as well as adjustment of status application together at the same time instead of waiting for the I-130 to be approved first and then being able to apply for a green card. So let's talk about who these eligible immigrants are. In the family-based immigration cases, these eligible immigrants are immediate relatives of United States citizens, spouses, unmarried children under the age of 21, and parents of US citizens. Everybody else, unfortunately, has to first wait for their I-130 to be approved before being able to apply for a green card. Let's actually talk about the concurrent filing process and how it works. Actually, there are two ways that you can go about it. You can either submit your I-130 application and I-485 application together by mail in one packet. The other option is to file your I-130 petition online through your USCIS account and follow it up by mail with the I-485 application. If you mail the Form I-130 and I-485 together, you should be aware of very specific address that you will have to mail these applications. The address where you will be sending these depends on the state in which you live. On the USCIS website, on the I-485 direct filing addresses page, you will be able to see where you will have to mail your concurrent application. And like I said earlier in the video, these two forms are not the only ones that you have to submit by mail. There is a lot of other paperwork and evidence involved in the process. And in the top right corner of this video, I will link the video that describes exactly the immigration forms that you will need for family-based petition. Now let's talk about the other option that you have, and that is submitting Form I-130 online and following it up with the I-485 application. Unfortunately, Form I-485 cannot be filed online, so you still must mail it in after you submit your Form I-130 online. After you submit your Form I-130 online, you will receive something known as I-797 Receipt Notice. This notice will be available under the Documents tab on your USCIS account, which you used for your I-130 application. The I-797 notice will serve as a receipt of your I-130 submission, and you will need to include it with your mailed I-485 application. And to find out where you're sending the I-485 application, the addresses basically will be the same as I described in the first example. Now, I will answer some of the most common questions that I have received about the concurrent filing process. The first very common question that I receive is that after filing my I-130 application, I realized that I was actually eligible to apply concurrently. Is it too late now for me to file my I-485 application? And the short answer is no, it's not too late. If you are eligible for concurrent filing, you can go ahead and do that at any time. So whether you have already filed your I-130 by mail or online, you still can go ahead and file your I-485 application while your I-130 is still processing. You don't have to now wait for it to be approved. But again, you should make sure that you are indeed eligible for concurrent filing. And if you are sending in your I-485 application separately, you must always include your I-130 receipt notice in it so that they know that you are filing concurrently. The next question I get is, if I file I-130 online and now I'm sending in my I-485, should I be including my Form I-130 again and all the evidence that I submitted for that with my I-485 packet? And the answer is no. You don't have to include all of that again if you have already submitted it online. So if you are applying for your spouse, for example, you know that there is a lot of evidence involved, such as the evidence of bona fide marriage. And in this case, if you already submitted all of that online with your I-130 application, you don't have to print it all out and send it in by mail again. The only thing that you need to be including is the I-130 receipt notice. The next question I get is, do I have to submit a separate petition for each of my relatives? So if you are a US citizen and you are filing for your relatives, you must submit a separate petition for each of them. And that is also outlined in the I-130 form instructions. So as a US citizen, if you are filing, for example, for your spouse and your child, you obviously must be submitting a separate I-130 petition as well as a separate I-485 for each of them. However, if you are sending in all this paperwork around the same time or at the same time, you don't have to send it in different envelopes. You can just put it in one big packet and mail it in. The next question I get is, how does the payment work with the concurrent filing application? I do have a video outlining how to pay USCIS fees, how to find out what the fees actually are, and also what are some of the payment options and advantages and disadvantages of each. That video will be linked on the screen right now. However, in short, if you are filing both of your concurrent applications by mail, then you will need to include two payment options separately, one for each of the applications. Right now, the I-130 filing fee is $535 and the I-485 filing fee is $1,225. That includes biometrics already. You can pay this either by a personal check, a money order, or a credit card authorization form, which is also known as G1450. If you are, however, filing your Form I-130 online, then at the very end of the online application, you will be guided to a payment page where you can essentially pay with a credit or a debit card, and then when you send in your I-485 later on, you will need to include a payment for that form in the mail. And the final question I get, it's more of a discussion, and that is, what is actually the difference between the two concurrent filing options? Which one is better? And honestly, it's kind of difficult to answer this question because everything depends on the service center that is processing your case. And unfortunately, you as an applicant cannot decide which service center you can send in your applications to. You must mail them in to the address that we talked about earlier in this video, and then they decide where they will direct it. A lot of people make a false assumption that if, for example, they are from Texas and they send in their application, they hope that their application will get processed by the Texas Service Center, but that is not necessarily true. The other thing is the processing times, so how quickly your applications are going to be processed and approved, also varies. One of these options is not faster than the other. I have a personal preference for online I-130 applications simply because it's a little bit easier to follow. The online form will automatically pick the questions for you that you have to answer depending on your case. In addition, online application will guide you exactly to the kind of evidence you should be uploading. And that's the other great part, is that you have the chance to upload all the evidence digitally, which is really helpful, especially in marriage-based cases, because there is a lot of evidence involved and it can get very overwhelming trying to organize it all. The payment is also a little bit easier because you can pay right online using a card. Additionally, submitting the I-130 application online will give you a peace of mind because you will know that your application was sent in and accepted almost immediately. Not to mention, you don't have to worry about your application getting lost in the mail. And so my last word on this is, if you have an option to submit any application online, you definitely should go for it because it will ease up the process for you significantly. Thank you so much for watching this video. I wish you luck in your immigration process. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in my next videos. Bye!